the best damn sports show in Franklin County for Wednesday, August 22nd, 2018. I'm the Nighthawk, along with our studio director, Mr. Zach. And on the panel to my immediate right, Red, and to my far right, the Duke. And I will say a welcome relief, 72 degrees, breezy, overcast skies, loving it.
Beautiful day today.
So of course rain, what do we get? Do we even get 500th of an inch of rain this morning?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it might have rained for like a total of 2 minutes all day long.
I was going to
Looked
play
like it
golf
was
with
gonna
my kid in
rain.
Enosburg. Of course, there was just enough rain to throw. We needed to play early.
Yeah.
Just shaky enough, but I mean, I'm telling you, these rain forecasts.
So Duke, I want to tell you something. You on Monday made a 9.5-year-old girl the happiest girl on the face of the earth. I'm down at the lake, okay, with my granddaughter.
Yeah.
And, you know, down there swimming. She goes, "Hey, Gramps, I want to go kayaking."
Oh, wow.
And I go,
Right, somebody used
okay. So I go out and I said, we'll have to be careful. We'll stay pretty close to shore.
So she's not 9.5?
9.5. Well, Duke,
Wow.
few of the strokes like that,
Yeah.
it was like she was born with the paddle in her hand.
And again, you were alongside in the other kayak?
Yeah, I was in yours, and she was in your son Ian's kayak. And of course,
Oh, that's great.
Ian had his yellow PFD in there, so I made sure she wore. I don't wear it, but I know by law you have to have it in your craft.
I mean, there was one in the other one also.
Right, yours was in there. Okay. So we're going out there, and again, just beautiful strokes, loving it, biggest smile I've ever seen on her face. So I said, "Hey, Buster, do you want to?" So I got nicknames for everybody, right? So I go, "Do you want to go out to Mosquito Island?" Well, sure. Well, we get there, and she says, "Well, I want to get off and go to the island."
Wow.
Okay, so we go off. Now, I'd always consider myself your average mediocre athlete. They're better than me, they're worse than me. Well, Red, let me tell you, when you're 60 years old and carrying a few extra pounds, getting out of a kayak might be the most difficult physical activity in the world.
It's a little tough.
Yeah. So I get out, and the shoreline on Mosquito Island, it's all slate rocks. You almost could shave on them. I mean, it's so I'm trying to get out, I fall. See these cuts here?
Oh, there you
I mean,
go.
I thought they needed stitches, but
Is that right?
oh yeah, I got up, fell, 6 inches of water, right in.
So you fell?
Oh yeah, my hand was all blood. And I go to myself, oh gee, what about my golf grip? So that felt all right.
Yeah.
So I got home, my wife put some Neosporin,
Yeah,
is that what it's
funny,
called? And bandaged me up. So it provided me an opportunity not to go to the hospital, get stitched up.
Jeez, I mean, so you could have used some stitches even?
At that point, yeah, but like I said, I got a bandage.
So again, this was getting out of the kayak on Mosquito?
Mosquito.
The rocks are tough around there.
Yeah. So then we go around Mosquito Island, and there's a tiny little island, not bigger than this studio, called Bird Poop. It's got another name.
Gull, I call it Gull, but I don't think it has an official name.
Right.
It's the one that's slightly closer to Bird.
Right. Yeah. And that generally is a white island because that's where the gulls like to do their business.
Guano. Yeah.
So Buster and I are swimming between Mosquito Island and Bird Poop Island.
You're swimming.
Not swimming, I'm sorry, kayaking.
Kayaking, yeah.
So we go through there. The water level.
If you made it through, you just barely.
No, I did not make it through. So I had to get out.
Yeah.
So I got out, okay, but then I said, Buster, got to help Grants, make sure this kayak is steady. So I got in and we went out. We were out middle of the lake, and she was great. Absolutely loved to do it. I'll tell you.
Of course, you could have gone to Burden. You could have landed at Burden and gotten food out there at the very impressive Burden Island Bistro.
Yeah. So we had a great time there.
Jeez, aside from almost killing yourself.
Yeah. Now, how did I get in on shore? Well, knowing of my recent injury.
Got out in deeper water, I hope.
He's a smart guy. Red, what I did, maybe I was 4 feet in the water. I just took my body and flipped myself out of the kayak and just carried it in.
No,
of course, it got a lot of water in the kayak, but I figured
it's better than having
I'm sorry about your hand.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. So I did
You
tell
can
her
still
after.
golf, it's okay.
I did tell her after. I said, listen, we had a great time here today. So
Sounds
I'm
like
sure
at least one of those kayaks will be getting some use. That's great.
So
Right.
I told her, and I'm sure she'll ask every time, hey, Gramps, let's go kayaking. But I said, so here's the new rule. If we ever go kayaking in the future, you will have to help Gramps in the kayak and help
out
him
of it.
out of it. So then I'm thinking, boy, she just was like a little kid not that many years ago.
Yeah.
Now she's helping me out. And another thing,
Glad the kayaks got some use.
Duke, we've talked the last few weeks about the water level, and you said it was 2 years ago when we got to
I checked that today. Guess what? We're at exactly within like a tenth of a foot. We're exactly the same level now today as we were 2 years ago. When we were just when I was just like a couple of weeks from walking, or we were a couple of weeks from walking out to Mosquito. We're at 94.4, exactly the same level as 2 years ago when it went down another 3/4 of a foot or so.
So it was probably early November, and the Duke tells me, Hawk, you can walk out from the point to Mosquito Island. That's good. Yeah, it's just amazing. So what are you doing? Not much. So I drove down there, and I was like, holy crap, that's huge. As I said, I couldn't believe how big it was. I told my wife, you really need to get down here. Well, a couple nights ago, I told her to get in her inventory of pictures that we don't look at and make me a print. So Red and Duke, you look at the monitor. You folks at home, use your TV sets. Zach, can you get a close-up of this?
Great picture.
Okay.
Unreal.
Okay, and that's me. Okay, right there, like all bundled up.
Great picture.
Okay, now, and that's right from the point, right around early November, I would suspect.
Yeah, sounds right.
Even though there's leaves on the trees, which I don't understand. Let me bring that up a little.
Or if not early, no, certainly late October
Yeah.
into maybe early November.
And that is, again, from Hathaway's Point right to Mosquito Island.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
my wife was and she doesn't get overly excited about anything.
Wow.
And she was like, holy crap. I'm telling you, you probably could have gotten 2 vehicles through there.
Yeah.
So,
And
and I
again,
told
we're not too far from that right now.
So thanks, Zach.
That's a great picture.
You can have it if you like.
Oh wow. Thank you. Great pics.
So I told Duke, of course, I tend to over-exaggerate about things. This is a once-in-a-generation, or if not lifetime. You'll never see this again. Now you just heard the stats. He said, we're right at the same level we were 2 years ago.
You hear that all the time, like 100-year rainstorms that seem to be happening every 5 years or
I
something.
tell you, just kayaking by that spot right there, I probably had about that much leeway
So
of water.
did you kayak over the sandbar? Just barely.
Like
Like I said, we're at I checked today. Again, exactly the same level today as we were 2 years ago on this date. And again, 94.4. And geez, I should have, it went down to 93 point, thinking maybe 6 or 7 or so, but went down, I think, maybe another 3/4 of a foot. By the looks of the sandbar, you'd think it even went down more. It went down, yeah, in fact, it's funny. It almost seems like it should have gone down more. But yeah, we may get to that point the way we're going.
And I will tell you, the water Monday was the dirtiest I've
is that right?
seen it, if not, for sure this year, if not years. It was all murky, and I was swimming last week, couple days. Wasn't all that bad for Lake Champlain, but it was nasty. And of course, I told Buster's mother, I said, what type of mother are you to allow that little kid swimming in Lake Champlain?
Of course, lucky me, just having dealt with my good friend the Atlantic Ocean over the weekend, my Martha's Vineyard trip. Boy, the Atlantic, I mean, you know, down off the vineyard off Cape Cod, water's as warm as Lake Champlain. It's as warm ocean water as I've ever had there. It's usually, I mean, easily swimmable, high 60s to about 70. It was more like mid 70s, just like Lake Champlain, very warm, but beautiful, good old salt
feel
water.
Swimming in crystal clear water. Isn't that
Felt
the
tremendous.
best?
Of course, the big story down there, day or two before I went, was a shark bite. First person in
Saw that in the
swimming
news. Yep.
in about 6 years who was bitten by a shark off Cape Cod. Tons of seals on the outer Cape. And this guy, sounds like a very smart guy, professor, all kinds of degrees and stuff, but bystanders saw him swimming near sharks. I'm sorry. That would have been very stupid.
Common sense.
Swimming near seals, the last thing you want to do.
Oh, okay.
Because that's why that's attracting the great whites, because there are tons of seals here that they jump up.
Yeah, and of course, with
So
the
the guy did
ocean
get bitten.
water warming, sharks are coming further north.
But the vineyards didn't see any issues. But it's funny, you know how blind I am. I don't swim with my glasses, obviously. I'm really blind. So, and I took, probably the first day I was there, a main beach day, I was probably in the water 10 times, tons of swimming. And I can't see, and I tend to go out pretty far with all the shark stuff, maybe not quite as far as I used to, but I'm swimming, kind of by myself. Most of my friends are on the beach. I come in, and I get, Rich, gee, that seal was pretty close to you. I said,
What seal?
What seal? And of course, had I seen this thing, I'm sure I would have freaked him. I'm going to distinguish between a seal and a shark, probably not. So probably just as it sounded like it was pretty close to me. Mm-hmm. They said that seal was pretty close. Seal? What seal? So probably just as well I didn't see it.
And I was watching that story. Was it a girl that got bit? I can't remember.
It was a guy. It was a university professor out of SUNY Brooklyn, tons of degrees, and initially serious condition. When I last left him, he had been upgraded to FEAR at Tufts Medical Center in Boston.
They said shark bites occur 6 feet or less.
He was standing. He was pretty far out. He was 100 feet out or so, 30 yards. But he was, I guess, standing in the water. So he was out relatively far, but not like in deep water. Yeah. But again, when I heard the reference that he was near some seals, that's the last thing you want to do. That's clearly what's attracting the sharks. So that story got, as you can imagine, a ton of attention.
Population was pretty dim a couple decades ago, from what I've been told.
Yeah,
they've made a
seals have come back big time.
Recovery.
Yeah.
And when I was in the Maritimes a couple weeks ago, I love watching seals. And during the tour, they were saying they're just as curious of you as with them.
Right. And that's the word on
But they're
shark.
just great-looking animal.
You hear the reference, a shark attack. It's a little misleading. I think we can probably assume, I can't speak for sharks, but in all likelihood, it's not like the shark is saying, oh my God, I've been eating seals for months.
Right.
There's a human. Wow, what luck. Make my day. Obviously, the shark, presumably, hey, it's something in the water, probably thinks it's another seal. So when you hear shark attack, it's kind of a little misleading.
He might have flossed his teeth with you, so. So one other thing before we dive headfirst into sports, you have a new TV show on Channel 15 on Monday nights, and I vaguely knew of that. I didn't know what this show was. I think it's called In the Groove.
Inside Groove.
And how new? You've been doing this for a while, Nick.
I think we just had our third episode on Monday.
So this is a racing show?
Yep. Just
okay.
Talking about
Is there anything you don't know? I mean, is there any sport that you don't like? So are you proclaiming to me right now that you're also an expert in NASCAR and all other things?
I like, honestly, if I had to rank which sports I like best, NASCAR and baseball would be right up there.
Would they? Is that right? NASCAR would be even with baseball?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
NASCAR was pretty much the first sport I started watching,
Really?
if you want to call it a sport. I know it's up to judgment for some people. But I started watching that, and now me and my brother watch it. And it's
that would be my brother and I.
My brother and I.
Good job.
We watch it now, and so it kind of brings me back to when I was little and growing up. And
That's great.
I've always enjoyed it. So yeah, it's right up there with baseball.
NASCAR. I mean, again, Hawk. Well, I'll speak for myself.
Right.
I pay
Means
little
nothing.
attention. I try to pay a little, but boy, everything I read about NASCAR is. Its heyday is over.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're big time guys keep retiring.
Yep.
Are you concerned about the future of NASCAR?
I am. There's a lot of not so great stuff going on. I mean, the CEO and president just got arrested for a DUI a couple of weeks ago.
Really?
But I mean, nobody's going in the races anymore. Viewership's down, sponsorship money's down, and big sponsors are leaving the sport, and it's just not a very good situation. But I think it's nothing that can't be fixed, but it'll take a few years to fix. But I think that with the right leadership, it can get back to where it once was.
Give me the top 3 reasons why you think NASCAR is not at the level today compared to 20 years ago, when that was literally at its
question.
Well, I think that within the last 20 years, they've taken away a lot of they've tried to get away from the Southern fan base because, at the end of the day, the majority of NASCAR fans are going to be in the South.
But let me ask you this. Do you think they expanded into areas that really aren't?
Right.
Because I'll akin this to hockey, NHL hockey.
Right. It's
Because
very much like
even
NHL
if,
hockey.
Liken it to, if you don't
Right.
liken it to.
akin's not a good word.
I mean, not,
It doesn't
not for
bother me
that.
when he corrects
I mean, I know. I don't do that to beat you up, but you appreciate that. Akin's a good word, just not that your usage of it. Oh, liken it. But sorry, I don't know why I threw that. I don't mean to make you paranoid.
All right, and
believe me, I screw up
you
myself.
want to get him going? Sometime something that's unusual. Use the term "very unique."
Yeah, that's
He'll
the
be
word.
down your throat for 5 minutes on
I'll
that.
let you get away with old adage. I won't even
Right,
react to that.
old adage. Right.
Yeah.
Please, remember, I never want to hear very unique.
Yeah.
Very
please.
unique.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry, Hawk,
So
I don't
I
mean
will
to beat
liken
you
this
up.
to hockey. Now,
There you go.
us living up in the North Country here, even though we didn't play high school hockey or college hockey, we certainly played pickup hockey with
Oh, yeah.
skates. We certainly played a ton of street hockey. We know the game. We watch the game. And the NHL got out of that base. Went Atlanta, right? They were the Flames. Then they were tried it again, the Atlanta Thrashers. And the franchises down in Tampa and Miami.
Right.
Low attendance, and that's what. And again, I'm not a race expert. That's what I think happened to NASCAR. They got greedy. They got away from the real base
Exactly,
that made them
yeah.
money and had to
Well, yeah, they tried to
go west, young man.
They tried to go west and go north, and the areas like California and Chicago didn't. The fans that came in weren't as diehard about it as the southern fan base that has been around for years. And not only did when they moved out west, they not only built new tracks out west, but they took away tracks that everybody loved down in the south. And I think that took a big hit to it.
Including some of the great old tracks in North Carolina.
Right. Yeah. A couple of really good tracks in North Carolina haven't been raced in 20 years because to make room for tracks out west that nobody's going to.
And probably thought to be a little too dangerous and stuff, whatever, just kind of
Right.
cleansing
Didn't
it a little.
they take one race away from Loudon,
They
New
did
Hampshire,
they took
move
a-
that race west?
To
They
Vegas,
took it to Las
Didn't they
Vegas.
end up in
Vegas, yeah.
Which
there you go.
is really unfortunate because, this year's New Hampshire race, the only one was in July, and I went to it with my family.
Oh, is that
you're
right?
kidding.
Really? You were there?
And this was easily one of the top 10 best races
Why
of the
aren't
year.
you reporting that on the show?
We talked about it all the time.
I don't remember you saying you were down
You mean
there.
on this
On this
show?
Not on this
Oh,
show,
yeah.
not on this show. But,
Oh, yeah. No, that's great for us.
but no, and it looks like we do have a call.
we got a call.
But yeah,
Okay, let me put you in neutral. Thank you. That little race.
nice,
Good
nice,
evening.
nice
You're the
reference.
first caller tonight on the Best Damn Sports Show in Franklin County.
Hi,
Hello.
guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, caller.
Doing fine, doing real fine. How about you guys?
Good.
Doing
We're
okay,
good.
except for Zach. I'm very hot. Is the air conditioning not on tonight?
I'm fine. I
I'm
got
fine.
a
I'm a
long
big fan
sleeve
on
shirt for some
Nighthawk. Keep
reason.
them cool.
You got 2 drinks over there.
I do have
What
2
else
drinks.
do you need?
So what's on your mind, caller?
Yeah, jumping back on the conversation there about racing, I used to be, and my wife and her family were big NASCAR fans,
Oh.
and that has dipped. But I think a lot of sports have their peaks and valleys, and they're kind of in the valley now.
Right.
To me, the Earnhardts walked on water for me. The dad first, then
Yeah.
Junior.
Yeah.
And I was a fan of these guys, and that really glued me to the set.
Yeah. Now that they're gone, it's
And-
completely different.
And, you watch these guys close, the other 30, 38 racers you became pretty familiar with. So
Yeah.
you had your favorites, you had guys you didn't mind, and there was always a couple racers you couldn't stand. You'd want them in last place or spinning out. And so what I think for me, for racing, it needs another Earnhardt, somebody everybody loves and cherishes.
Yeah.
And also, I think like Tiger Woods took golf and resurrected it. Everybody was in love with Tiger Woods, including the 12 women he was with.
28.
And, he kind of raised golf up to a new level.
Yeah.
And I think as Tiger went into whatever Tiger went into, his slump or his change of life, if you will, golf kind of went down a bit. And if you remember back, the baseball strike, baseball was sizzling away, kind of dying a little bit. And then you had the introductions of steroids where it took a 180-year-old man and made a monster out of him. And unfortunately, it took steroids to resurrect baseball. You had the Mash brothers there, Canseco and McGuire. You had Soda.
Sammy Sosa.
It kind of brought, like, you know, a new flavor to baseball, even though they were cheating.
I think
that
Ken Griffey's
baseball.
another guy, even though he wasn't on steroids.
You know,
Lost some time at Centennial.
Yep.
No.
And now, okay, last but not least, we have football in a slump. I work with a bunch of people, probably 100 people, and 90% of them could give a rat's behind about football anymore.
Bobby, has that changed from years?
We had all kinds of pools at work. We're down to one.
Wow.
There's not very good dialogue about some of these people that are taking the knee. So I guess what I'm saying, football is in that slump right now, and football is going to need something to resurrect it. Well, I really don't know, but as long as these people take a knee, it's just driving football deeper and deeper. You can say, well, what they're doing is right or what they're doing is wrong, but nonetheless, it is killing the game and it's putting a big division even amongst the owners. Some of the owners forbid the players to take a knee while others say, well, that's their American right. So, you know, football now is in that slump and they've got to find a way out.
Well, I'll tell you the way they find out the players respect the country and the flag. We've talked about this a lot last year. The viewership the past 2 years in the NFL is down 18%.
Is that right?
And
that's significant.
And I love football as much as anybody, but I actually love our country more than I love football. And I stopped watching football in September, except for the Giants. That was the only game. And I play in 3 fantasy leagues myself. I'm sure you play in some to boot. Yeah. It took the fun out of the game.
Are you still doing your fantasy league?
I'm still playing it, but my oldest brother is in 4, ran the league at St. Albans Co-op. He was the commissioner of that league. He's
totally out.
completely out, plus he's not watching it.
So he's pays zero attention.
Zero.
And your brother and nephew was out as well.
Wow.
Yeah, and personally, I'll watch college over the NFL.
Yeah.
I'll watch football all Saturday, and then not a single game on Sunday. I'll watch Patriots playoff games.
But the
caller,
caller brought this up, and this was a point, and actually one of the highlights I thought of tonight's show was ESPN announced they will not be showing the national anthem.
I heard that
before the game
today.
Yeah.
So you're thinking to yourself, you've got different thoughts here. ESPN is paying a paltry $2 billion a year to show Monday Night Football. Now, as the aforementioned 18% decline in viewership, a child of 4 probably can tell you it's because of these idiots on the sideline degrading our country.
Yeah.
You're not saying that's the only cause of the drop in ratings, though, are you?
Out of the 18%, I would say 15%.
Really? You think that's
Oh,
most of it?
absolutely.
Wasn't it fading anyway before this happened?
Yeah, I think it was.
Sorry.
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
As far as I'm concerned, all the people I work with, this is the reason.
Yeah.
This is the main concern, the main topic. And as far as ESPN not showing the national anthem, as far as I'm concerned, they could be taking a knee with the players. They're just taking a knee in a different direction.
Caller, you're up.
Well, I'm not going to expose this. I'm not going to show it.
Yeah.
You're as guilty as the person taking the knee.
Yeah, ESPN is just as liberal as the New York Times and the Boston Globe. There's no question about that. And they're concerned about their pocketbook right now. They're supposed to be a sports and news. I mean, they covered a lot, but now they're playing ostrich to this, so they won't even be bringing it up. And these players are just employees of these owners. If the owner says you don't do this, you don't do it. If they don't like it, then quit. Just quit.
What about pro basketball? Don't the players have to stand for that? And it's been no issue in pro basketball.
If they want to protest anything, they
Yeah.
go out and they'll like wear shirts or something that during warm-ups, and the NBA lets them do it. If they want to put something on their cleats or something, they let the NBA lets them do it. If they want to wear an armband or something like that, it's perfectly fine. The NBA says stand for the national anthem. And how many times have you in the last 10 years heard anything about protests in the NBA? Nobody makes a big deal out of it.
And the main thing too is these guys are not educated. They don't know the facts. They keep complaining about our police force in this country. I mean, they're human beings. Nothing's perfect, but I'd say 99.
Especially nothing's perfect. I mean, again, especially if you're a black person, Hawk. There are plenty of
let me say this,
conservative
too.
blacks out there who say, "Hey, I'm very high on police in general, but I wouldn't discount the fact
but
that
I will never
plenty
sit
of
here
blacks have had bad
and
times
have an
with
opinion on
police.
racial issues. I will use facts. 93% of the African Americans killed in this country are by other African Americans. That's a fact. It's indisputable.
Hey,
so
talk
I'm
to
not
the
going
good
to sit
folks
here
in
and have an
Chicago.
opinion. So if you want to have a debate, let's just deal with facts. And these guys are idiots that barely can write two sentences together. So don't go preaching to me.
Well, the thing is, too, I read a piece in the paper about 3 weeks ago. There was like 30 or 40 shootings in Chicago that week.
It was
Yeah,
somehow.
Chicago's been on the-
I thought, well, perhaps this is an opportunity for those kneelers all to get on a bus themselves to Chicago, and walk through the neighborhoods and perhaps
Nice
put
thought.
some
Good
of their influence on these neighborhoods and saying we cannot kill each other. You know, we're brothers. We're all human beings. Instead of taking a safe little knee in front of a safe place, you know, where it means nothing. I really think if they felt the way they do, there is many outlets for them to really to express their opinion.
Caller,
Taking a knee for the national anthem is, to me, is a coward's way out.
It was actually 78 shootings a week and a half ago with 14 deaths, and it was all black on black. Again, just a fact, not an opinion. So, let's stop having all these wrong opinions. Deal with the facts of the matter, and that's exactly what it was. And caller, you're absolutely right. Is you players that want to take a knee, fly to Chicago, take a bus to Chicago, and walk through the south side of Chicago and see what life is really all about.
Yeah, and I think that's the best way to do it. They've got all these millions of dollars, and every NFL player has Tuesdays off.
Yeah.
So go do something about it. Go march on Washington. Go visit these communities. I mean, donate some money like Colin Kaepernick did. Just do something other than stir up trouble while you're supposed to be doing your job.
And just quickly, one of the biggest liberals in Hollywood is Meryl Streep. Blah blah blah, always whining about something. Well, she's got a house up for sale for $25 million. Show me something. Sell the house and take that $25 million and donate it to the south side of Chicago's police department to get more cops there. Instead of all this lip service during these award ceremonies.
And I just.
But at any rate, like we said, the NFL has to do something now to save itself. When you're dropping 10, 15, 18%, that is big. That is alarming big. So, they've got to pull something out of the magic hat and redeem themselves.
Yeah, I will tell you, I have a friend that has season tickets down at MetLife Stadium, and very mellow person. Talked to him one night. He was ripping. Says, he spent $10,000 for the PSLs, personal seat licenses, to have the privilege to write a big check every year to buy his 2 seats. He says, Rick, I go down there to relax. I watch my news during the week. This is a Sunday. I don't want to see this garbage. And he had considered giving up his tickets.
Yeah.
Well, the unfortunate thing is, it isn't everybody. It's like the old saying is, one bad banana could spoil the whole bunch. And you see 2 or 3 doing it, pluck them out, drag them out, throw them out of the stadium. Let the 95% that really do want to do things right, let them play,
Yeah. Now, caller, the 3 other networks, CBS says it does not plan to televise, the playing of the Star Spangled Banner. Fox says the network only plans to show the anthem during special broadcasts, meaning Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, and playoffs. NBC spokesman says they're still undetermined what they're going to do. So instead of confronting the issue, they're just sticking their head in the sand.
Sounds like they're punting.
Yeah. Good metaphor.
Yeah, it's all about the money.
Yep, it always is.
But with the ratings going down,
But
I would think they'd be getting a
I'll
little
let
concerned
you
about
guys
the money.
go.
Thanks, caller.
Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks for checking in.
Yeah, you guys have a good evening.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I will tell you, before the skiing stuff, attendance had been dropping like 1% for the last 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the meaning of that is, and I go down to MetLife every year, we'll again this year.
And you'll continue to do that, right?
Continue. I'm only going once a year. I've gone a couple times a year, a couple times. However, see that big monitor we have there? Everybody's now got their big screen, high def TV.
Yeah.
Cost you nothing to watch it.
Yep.
Okay, to go to the bathroom, you might be about 20 steps away. You don't have to wait in line.
Yep.
If you want a beer, 6-pack divided by 6 for the price paid may cost you 80 cents a beer instead of $13 a beer.
Right.
Peace and quiet. And that's the reason. I mean, the NFL was made for television. Superb job. I have no complaints on the type of job that they do. And the other part of it too, is I always harp on, is the younger generation, not including you obviously, is they're not into sports.
Yeah.
As much as we're 2 generations removed, but when Duke played baseball every day, I played baseball. I mean, we didn't have the electronic gadgets.
Right.
We went out and made our fun, and that's the society that these young folks are coming in. They're just simply not participating in sports. Their numbers are there that bear it. Little League numbers are down. Pop Warner numbers, football numbers are, especially among whites, are just absolutely.
Of course, some of that's obviously the
concussion,
injury, concussion
absolutely.
issue
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's another big issue for football too. Why ratings are down is because, I mean, people. I think people. There's, if not equal, very near the amount of people that are like in your camp saying, "I'm not going to watch this because of the national anthem protest." I think there's equal amount of people who are out there saying, "I'm not going to watch this because these people are pretty much committing suicide, guaranteeing death at 50."
Mm-hmm.
So I think that plays into it quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
And then you have the new rule. I mean, the helmet thing. I mean, I feel bad for especially defensive
The helmet
players.
rule's a
I mean,
disaster.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Is it even clear how you're supposed to tackle somebody these days?
Right.
That's all.
Huh? Is it?
You don't even think when you put your head down.
Yeah.
I've been watching the Giants pregame or preseason
yeah.
games. Boy, aren't they dreadful to watch preseason games?
I guess you're right.
I
If
can
interject
stand
a
about
Pats
10
note,
minutes of a
What happened
Patriots
to the
preseason
Pats
game.
last game? Same thing that's happened for 5 straight years?
Yeah.
Their number 1 draft pick, see ya.
Out for the
Right.
season. And not only was their number 1 pick, but that was an important pick, offensive
Right.
lineman.
With Mr. So
Both their
guys.
their first round picks are gone for a while
like-
right now. Michelle's been hurt for
Yeah,
the
he's
entire
been out.
preseason.
But
and-
for 5 straight years, either their first, maybe sometimes first and second round picks, season-ending
Yeah.
injuries.
Yeah. But when the
Isaiah Wynn was the latest guy to
when
go
the
down.
NFL office is trying to get the barometer of what the state of the nation is on football, forget about their corporate friends. This last guy that called, the point he made, we used to have a number of fantasy leagues down at work, and now it's down to 1. And that is occurring. It's just and
I'll play fantasy football all day, but I don't have the watching NFL games on Sunday just has no appeal to me, especially if there's racing on or something to go do with the family on Sundays. I'm just not. It doesn't appeal to me.
Now, the reason I watch so much football and when I die, go straight to heaven, no purgatory, the big guy wants me, is I'm going to say, hey, Jesus, thanks a lot for the invention of the DVR. I mean, to me, September's coming up. My favorite month of the year, Duke's favorite month of the year. I love September. I will not be sitting in my home at 1 o'clock in the afternoon watching football. I
Right.
will, even if it's something like mowing the lawn, which is nice in September. I golf with him most Sundays, and first thing I say, Duke, don't say a word about football, and we'll golf. I'll take my shower, grab a bite to eat. It may be 8 o'clock at night, Red, when I start watching the 1 o'clock game. Then I have the 4 o'clock game recorded, and I'll probably have the 8 o'clock. But of course, with the DVR, you can skip through the commercials, etc.
So
For me, though, the DVR has always been tough because I have this right here, and you can go right on and see the score, or I'll get maybe just looking through my Facebook feed or something. I'll see the score by mistake, and then halfway through the game, that ruins the whole thing for me.
I don't own one of these, so I have no fear of that whatsoever. But I just avoid all media on Sunday, and I absolutely love the sun goes down, and then I'll start watching football.
Yeah.
It's just.
So are you paying as much attention to the Giants as ever, or not as much?
Oh, it's just as much as ever, sure.
But just basically no attention to. I mean, obviously, some of the other stuff affects the Giants, but you're paying very little attention to anything else.
I am giving the National Football League a mulligan. What happened last year was on them. However, sometimes when you get out of the parking lot, you're all tired and you hit your first drive of the day and it's no good. You give the guy a mulligan, okay? Yeah. And I'm giving the NFL a mulligan.
But it looks like nothing, but is anything changing?
Well, it's, what
I think the
happens
NFL is
in
going to be worse
preseason
this year than it
and
was
what
last
happens
year.
in regular seasons too. And now some bad things may occur the first week, and I will let that go. It's not what happens on Sunday. It's important to me. It's what's going to happen on Monday. Is to discipline these idiots. I've got 3 football drafts coming up next week, so I best be prepared, and I take my fantasy stuff extremely seriously, and not to be boisterous, but I've won a number of times. I have a nice big trophy sitting at my house as we speak. Now, the Boston Patriots, the New England Patriots, greatest logo in sports, the old Minuteman. I tell him that about 12 times a year. Do you remember the old Minuteman logo?
Yeah.
With the best logo.
I think I saw a T-shirt the other day with the old logo, but it was a small. I couldn't quite get into it, but I'm always looking.
Nothing better. Well, the Patriots today cut Kenny Britt, and they had high expectations. This guy was great coming out of Rutgers. I think he was a number 1 pick about 5 years ago.
They've
by
had plenty of
Tennessee.
Rutgers guys. Mr. McCourty's out of Rutgers.
Tom Brady may have some issues throwing this year.
I'm not sure he's got a lot of bodies at this
That's
moment.
his issue.
He doesn't,
He's got Chris Hogan, who I would give average player. He's got a first-round draft pick from Indianapolis Colts. They got in the trade for Jacoby Brissett, Philip Dorsett, who was an absolute
didn't
bust.
Go crazy last year.
Absolute bust. And they got Cordell Patterson, another first-round pick by the Minnesota Vikings. That also
more of a return guy,
a bust. So.
I'm not sure to call him a bust, but he's certainly.
He's not a receiver.
He's been a bust.
I mean, to date, he's been in other seasons.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think they have some hope for this guy.
If he can't correct his game with Tom Brady, then there's no hope.
Right.
Now, I will say this about the Patriots, and not their fault. They just happened to be at the right place at the right time, and more specifically, geographically in the right place. This American Football Conference East Division this year is going to be a stinkeroo. Patriots, they're God.
Although the Jets certainly, there's some folks who think the Jets are the team of the future in that division.
Right, but I'm talking 2018.
It'll take a while.
Sam Darnold, rookie quarterback starting, okay? Buffalo Bills, A.J. McCarron was slated to be their quarterback.
But he got hurt, didn't he?
Got hurt, and he's really got no NFL experience. So they have their first-round pick, Josh Allen, out of Wyoming.
Good arm,
round
big arm.
13th pick, somewhere around there.
Yes.
You got
7th pick.
Miami with Ryan Tannehill that missed the season completely. Former first-round pick, I believe, out of Texas A&M. I thought it was going to be a good quarterback. Never progressed, and if he doesn't play,
well, he's been hurt the whole time. I don't think he's been really given.
Again, the Pats have their usual.
The Patriots literally are playing in the worst division of football with no second place And again, it's not their fault. They just
And again, for the record, they do seem to do pretty well year after year against out of division.
Oh,
It's
listen.
not like they get beat up when they get out of their division.
You're not-
record,
never
but I
gonna-
understand.
I think this
Here-
is going to be a different year for the Patriots, but yeah.
And they've got Chicago, Minnesota. They've got some
Yeah.
decent
Yeah.
NFC teams
Yeah.
to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I'm as a Patriots guy. Yeah, the receivers, geez, and running back. I mean, Dion, it's fun. They're so funny with the running. LeGarrette Blount, who killed him in the Super Bowl.
I saw
Hey, LeGarrette, thanks for good. See ya. I don't think. And Dion Lewis, they didn't even throw. Was
listen.
it just a money issue? They just weren't going to pay him.
Yeah, he
Whatever
wanted,
the
he wanted
Tennessee
more,
paid him?
Yeah.
Duke, we played. I saw LeGarrette Blount this past
Yeah.
weekend.
Is he on Pittsburgh
No.
or is he somewhere?
He
is that
played.
right?
He's won 2 Super Bowl rings in a row
Yep.
with the Patriots.
And then the
last year
Eagles,
with
yeah.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Now he's toiling with the Detroit Lions.
Oh, is that
Oh,
Is
really?
where he is.
Is that right?
You know, number 29 Blount in the game.
It's
It's
just
just LeGarrette Blount. I
it's
didn't even know where
yeah.
he
It's
was.
amazing how little value running backs seem
Yeah,
to have.
running backs
I mean,
are
the
worthless
Patriots
these
could just
days.
care less.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Dion Lewis, how good a year did that guy have
Yeah.
last year?
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
to your point, the Giants had the 2nd overall pick.
Yeah.
You simply do not take a running back in the first round, and if you do, it's late in the first round. They have an extremely short shelf life. Now,
So you're happy
Shaquan
with their
Leonard
guy?
Parent said from the get-go, Barkley's their pick. I told Leonard, you're nuts.
really?
This is not going to happen.
Huh.
Now, the reason there's a pro scout out there, or general manager, a long time one, said in his 30 years of scouting, only 2 players have ever reached a perfect score on his evaluation. One was Peyton Manning, pretty good player,
Yeah.
and the other was Shaquan Barkley.
Really?
Now, there's no doubt, coming out of college, Penn State, he's the best looking back we've seen since I don't know.
Is that
when.
right? In
He-
years, huh?
But the reason the Giants did not take a quarterback at number 2, and Eli's 37 years of age, so obviously makes sense to get your quarterback of the future.
Yeah.
The Giants deemed, and I agree, that none of these quarterbacks coming out were really worthy of a number
Yeah.
1, number 2 pick. Baker Mayfield, who's
I think he's been impressed.
he's looked
He's impressed,
really
yeah.
good with Cleveland.
But I think
won't
he
be
was
starting.
I think he's a big risk.
Right.
Yeah.
You had Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, who went number 4 to the Jets.
Darnold went number 3 to the Jets. I
3 to
wanna
the
say.
Jets.
Yeah. 3.
So, but none of these quarterbacks were worthy of the pick. Now, the Giants were starving for running back. This may work out. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm certainly not complaining.
He's looked very good so far.
Well, he
I
hasn't
don't think-
practiced in 2 weeks. He's got a pulled hamstring or something like that.
But in that game against Cleveland, he looked
touch,
pretty good.
He got 39
Yeah.
yards off. On
I
his first
think
carry.
that I think that if you can find, I agree with you with that running backs. If you shouldn't be drafting them in the first round because they have no value. But I think if you can find a guy like Saquon Barkley who seems to be a can't miss guy,
Mm-hmm.
I think go ahead because when you do have that really good running back. That can really open stuff up, and I think that can help make Eli Manning a better quarterback this year too.
Right.
So.
When you're 37 years old, you have to take the load off the quarterback,
Right.
and I don't care what their last name is. Now, Barkley's a educated, good character guy, so that helped him as well, where
Yeah.
he's not going to be an issue.
Did he pick up a minor injury, Hawk?
He's got a
or-
hamstring, and he actually practiced today doing individual drills for the first time.
Boy, hamstring. That just scares me when I
Well,
heard that.
All right, they're not life-threatening, but there's nothing you can do about them other than sit around and drink a root beer float because
Yeah.
it just takes time for them to heal.
Funny you
so-
mentioned root beer float at the Martha's Vineyard Ag Fair, which I went to for the first time visiting Clam Man.
Did you get a root beer?
I'm pretty disciplined about money, but I said we had just had some food. I said, boy, a root beer float wouldn't be bad, but my physical discipline, I would have spent $5 on it. It was $7. I said, no, forget it.
Yeah.
I thought of getting a root beer float.
Yeah.
I like root
Yeah.
beer floats, which I did get at Vermont's lone A&W root beer
down in
stand after I
Middlebury.
took my buddy Alex to camp a couple weeks ago.
I'm trying to remember
forget how much. I think it was $5.
what town is A&W?
Middlebury, just on the south, just south of Middlebury.
They used to have one. They used to have like one in a gas station in Plattsburgh, and I
Really?
used to go. It was it was like off that first exit before you get into the city, and we used to go there a lot. But I guess we went to go there like earlier in the summer, and they'd shut down. So the only place is Middlebury.
Vermont's down to just the Middlebury one.
Wendy's. The only ones I can think of.
Newport. I had the one in
has a
Newport
Wendy's.
routinely.
Essex has
Yeah.
a Wendy's.
Yeah, those are the two I know.
And Rutland has a Wendy's.
Rutland.
Those are the only three I can think of in the.
St. Albans,
Now,
of course,
luckily-
St. Albans didn't last long. for
I
whatever
was
reason.
in Wendy's having a chicken mandarin salad the last night it was open.
Did they have anything? Did you know it was closed?
Oh,
the
no,
next
no,
day?
no, no, no. You never, ever even announced to your employees
I call-
we're shutting down.
Right. Yeah.
Because
Sure.
at that point, you've got
See ya.
Nick Mumley working in the kitchen, pissed off, and Nick decides to put some pins and razor blades in the food or arsenic.
Gotcha.
So they literally told the employees right when they closed,
Wow.
that's it.
Wow.
We're done, because I knew someone.
I did
a
make
kid
some
that
calls
worked
about that. Of course, got nowhere.
Yeah.
Nobody even called me
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
Yeah, that was kind
I
of
eat
weird.
there quite a.
Wendy's is a good place,
I
yeah.
think
good place.
when you consider Wendy's a bit of a step up from
It is.
McDonald's,
Yeah.
no offense to
And
the
right
other
now,
guys, but
at all participating restaurants, the Frosty's on sale for 50 cents.
Wow, there's our Wendy's
Yeah, they
bit.
do.
Wendy's sponsor us
You're right.
for next episode.
Yeah.
yes, I have had
Yeah.
Frosties before.
Now, as far as the Giants are concerned, coming off a 3-13 season.
is that what they were? 3
Oh,
and 13?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And the record doesn't signify how bad they were. They
Is that
weren't
right?
even that good
Wow.
last year. Thanks for laughing.
That's saying something right there.
Their weakness, they have no depth at corner behind Eli Apple and the Jackrabbit, Janoris Jenkins.
Yeah.
Nothing. If I gave you some possible names, you would say, never heard of them. The right offensive line, it's a completely revamped offensive line. 4 new players, and Eric Flowers, who was a bust out of the U, Miami, 9th overall
U.
pick.
U.
He's going from left tackle over to right tackle. And of course, your friend Nate Solder from the New England Patriots
Yeah.
got a busload of money, highest paid offensive lineman
Is that right,
in
in
the
the
history
league?
of football.
Really?
And that's without ever making an all-pro team. Now, the adjective I like to use for him, very steady player, but he's never made the all-pro, and he's on TV all the time. People would notice him,
Yeah.
but certainly a huge step up. We took Will Hernandez, second-round pick, left guard. Right now, there's a battle. These are guys that you folks at home have never heard of. John Halapo and Brett Jones out of Canada for the center position. Patrick O'Mahony, whatever, he came from Jacksonville. And what's scary about this, and I meant to look it up, I thought we were going to sign that guard to take that spot. Jacksonville signed him.
Oh, really?
And cut this Patrick O'Mahony,
Yeah.
and he's now starting for us. So if he wasn't good enough to play for Jacksonville,
Right.
So we have issues there. And Shaquan Barkley, we're just going to have to, to take a second-round pick on a running back. You've just
You
have
gotta
to
know
pray he's going to stay healthy.
I think that they understand the risk there. That I think means for sure that they saw something in him that was like, okay, this guy is 100% legit and is going to help us out for a long time to come.
Yeah, and he's a 3-down back. He can catch as well. So you
Yeah,
don't have
because
to-
otherwise, I think that they would have probably taken Bradley Chubb.
Okay, and that's funny
NC
too.
State.
Bradley Chubb out of North Carolina State.
Yeah.
He went 5th overall. Okay.
Then NC State, and just the Globe's got a story today. They can count on gutsy Joe Thuney, the Pats offensive lineman. Guess where he's out of?
NC
State has thrown in a lot of
they have
good for not
and
to
the
mention some quarterbacks
greatest
who
player of all
started
time,
there.
defensive player of all time, Lawrence Taylor. No, he
he's-
played in North
God.
Carolina. He played for the
Tar Heel fans would be freaking out right now.
Yeah, you're right.
Nighthawk.
So, boy, what was the
But
time about
another,
North
but
Carolina
another
State?
triangle football player. I'm sorry the Dukies don't have some of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I love when football comes around. Now I'm turning completely vanilla here, and I'm going to go with an 8-8 season. I mean that's doesn't show much moxie in my
Give
heart.
him some chance for postseason? Or
No, I
not
really don't, because
Yeah.
The NFC's so good,
You have
yeah.
the
What
world-
about Leonard? Does Leonard give them no chance for postseason? Do you
I've
know?
seen very little of Leonard this summer.
Yeah.
Of course, you have the Eagles, world champs in our
Yeah.
division,
Yeah.
and
The
Carson
Cowboys are going
Wentz.
to be decent.
They have their starting quarterback. They won the world championship last year with a backup
Without,
quarterback.
yeah.
Tell me, I
Now,
recall
Carson
this.
Wentz, he hasn't even played though, Nick.
Yeah.
Has not played. His leg is a lot worse. He
And
may be
Foles-
ready to go.
And Foles picked up at least a minor injury
Right.
in the
He
Pats
is playing
game.
this
Well,
weekend.
and you got to remember about Wentz too is that he did tear the ACL really late in the season. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Why hurry with Nick Foles?
Right.
Could anybody have played a better game
No.
against the Pats than Nick Foles?
No,
Well,
What a
absolutely not.
game.
hey, he was playing against a high school defense, but
Whatever he was playing, he played
Yeah.
an unbelievable game. Is all in.
Now, the Dallas Cowboys, who I rave, rightly so, about their offensive line, best offensive line in football. So they'll give their running back, help me here, the running back for Dallas.
Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah.
Zeke Elliott. And Dak Prescott gets all kinds of protection. Prescott went down with an injury last year. So I expect Dallas to be a contender this year. The Washington Redskins, you tell me, they picked up Alex Smith, who,
I don't
if
think
you
he
want
means
a
anything.
poster child of what an average NFL quarterback is.
That's all you give him.
Alex Smith.
Average.
Yeah, he's good,
Yeah,
but
he's-
he's not a
he gets the
championship
job done,
guy.
yeah.
He's not bad.
No.
He's just average guy.
I think, yeah. I think the Giants and Redskins will be battling for that fourth spot, or third
St.
spot in the division.
Yeah, I'm 2 years in. Still call them St. Louis Rams. The LA Rams last year, in this, well, I was going to say an underplayed story, but again, I didn't follow it that much. The Rams in 2016, I think, scored the less points in the NFL. Last year, they scored the most points. And the guy that I gave the MVP to last year, not Tom Brady, granted, that's why quarterbacks get it. They touch the ball every possession.
Yeah.
But Todd Gurley is the best
Well,
offensive.
Sean McVay is a great,
Yes,
great
he is.
coach as
How
well.
old is he now? 33?
Young enough to still be a player. That's all I
Exactly.
know.
But
And
Todd
compared
Gurley-
to Jeff Fisher,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the
Now,
difference right there.
and you got to remember, when the Rams drafted Todd Gurley, he was coming off a broken leg, playing for
At
the
Georgia.
Georgia Bulldogs. Didn't even play the first year with the Rams, but that is how highly they thought of this kid. And he set out the first season, and now, again, I consider Todd Gurley the best offensive player in football.
I think that I would give him another year to prove that before I went that far, but I think he's definitely top 10.
Yeah, in that division, I think Seattle is coming down a peg every year.
Well, Seattle's going to be probably one of the worst teams in the NFC this year, honestly.
You think?
They have Russell Wilson, but nobody else. I mean, everybody else from that is gone. They're very similar. They remind me a lot of San Francisco a couple years ago, and all that big defense that the 49ers had that got them to the Super Bowl when they had Kaepernick has kind of either retired or gone elsewhere. Seattle doesn't have a defense anymore. They have Russell Wilson, but they don't have any receivers for him.
And just one quick footnote for 12 seconds. The other guy who was the big kneeler on the 49ers, Eric Reed, safety, better than average player.
Yeah,
You know what he's doing for work right now?
I don't.
He's not.
Oh.
Nobody picked this guy. Better than average safety,
Really?
but nobody wants the headache with this guy. They don't want a
Did
Black
you see
Panther
the story
militant on this team.
where John Elway said that Denver offered Kaepernick a contract and he declined it? I want to know, what do you think about that?
2016.
He said Denver offered
Right,
Kaepernick
Yeah.
a
they
contract.
did. I think, though, they told him you're going to have to take a $5 million pay cut. That's
Yeah.
the caveat in the story. And Elway this
And
week,
maybe keep your mouth shut.
Elway pretty much said that the ship is
Well, his career is over
sailed.
now.
Yeah, you're right. Right.
There's no way he gets
You know,
back in the game
you
after
just,
missing
you
2
can't
years.
get a militant in your locker room like that, and that's the simple story. Now, the funny thing is, we just spent about a half hour on football. Do you know how much time we spent on football last week? Nothing.
That is
we
funny.
did. Now, Chris Sale, speaking of the ship has sailed.
Sale heads
Okay.
back then.
I have been giving nothing but kudos to Cora and Dabrowski.
I don't think you can blame those guys.
No,
at all.
there's no blame to be given about what a brilliant job they did by sitting him down for one start. You just
Yeah.
throw him on the DL for the 10 days. He only misses one start, comes back, pitches 5 lousy
one
innings
game.
Yeah.
of 1 hit, 12 out of 15 outs,
Yeah.
strikeout. And I'm thinking to myself, even though I'm not giving Cora the manager of the year, Melvin will get that, but Dombrowski,
Boy, the Tampa Bay man, Kevin Cash should get some votes too.
yeah,
Talk about a great effort.
And
Yeah.
right, and I want to remind me to talk about Kevin Cash here in a bit. But Dombrowski could get Executive of the Year, and again, they clean out that locker room.
I don't know if Dombrowski should get to Executive of the Year. He hasn't really done a whole lot.
Well,
What
some
the
good
Red
late
Sox?
pickups.
Well,
Ian,
I
Ian
would say-
Kinsler. If I'm Dombrowski, I'm sitting down
Okay,
with Ian
okay.
Kinsler. Ian, nice to have you on the team this year. Let's talk next
Okay.
year and maybe the year after.
Okay, sometimes
Yeah.
an executive doesn't have to make a plethora of moves. Sometimes it just takes one. Signing of J.D. Martinez the last days
Yeah, that
of
was
February.
that was a biggie.
And I read that article in the last issue of the
Yeah.
Sports Illustrated, and that was great what you said last week, that little paragraph where Martinez knows who he is.
Yeah.
I'm not flashy like a Harper, like a Trout, like a Betts. But he stated in that article that he realized he did not get a true value contract, that he did not get paid for what he's worth, but he took what he could get, so he had to settle for $110
Of course, my friend
million.
Clam Man says, Rich, why would he ever? I said, Clam, he's got an opt-out after next year.
Hmm?
Clam said, he's on a great team. They might win the World Series. Why would he think about going anywhere else? Clam, why does just about any player think about going
Yeah.
anywhere else?
Yeah.
Money.
Now, and I will tell you, we had a great debate last week on the MVP in the American League. Really, I enjoyed that talk.
Yeah.
However, right now, I am putting my ballot without any apprehension for Chris with a K Davis. His stats are all comparable with J.D. Martinez. J.D. is batting .301. Davis is hitting .263. He's tied with Martinez for home runs, 38.
Yeah.
I think Martinez got 180 RBIs.
Yeah.
Davis has got 102.
Well,
And
Davis's
like I said,
second half has been
my
really good.
right. My whole requisite or prerequisite when it comes to, you can help me on the English, to make out my ballot is very simple. If you take one player off the team, who's going
Right.
to get hurt more?
Right.
And that's simple. Now, and again, MVP's got nothing to do with player of the year. And I thought about you guys. I would have given a Martinez, but you guys convinced me. Overall, the big package, Mookie Betts is the player of the year, with maybe JD being just a hair.
I'd probably give
Yeah.
Mookie
But-
a little
when
edge.
you're looking at the Red Sox, you've got the two best players in the league this year on that team. Chris Davis. Okay, aside from Chris Davis, Stu, tell me the other offensive stars on the Oakland Athletics.
No, nothing. I
Right,
can
right,
tell you
exactly.
nothing about these
and
guys.
that's the case in
What
point.
an
Yeah, that pitcher
impressive-
that
what an
no hit the Red
impressive
Sox,
team.
but earlier in the year, the Mania guy. But yeah, for at the plate, I can't really think
No.
of anybody who's too
No,
impressive.
what an impressive effort by Oakland.
Oh, coming to the show, the games weren't finalized. Oakland was losing to
Oakland
Texas.
did lose to Texas.
And Houston was way up on Seattle.
They beat Seattle, yeah.
But the funny thing is, if Oakland, and they won't, but you know what a great season. If they won that division,
Great effort
think
by
they could.
Oakland.
and
Yeah, I
Houston
wouldn't rule them out.
and New York plays a wild card,
Right.
and just say Houston wins the Red Sox first round series against Houston. Are you kidding me?
Well,
And for the record, again, I was the one who predicted the Yankees would get ahead of the Red Sox. Obviously, not happening seemingly. Unless
It's also-
but
for the-
still, the Yankees, especially if they get some guys back. Hey, Yankees are a pretty good team.
Chapman
Yeah.
pitched 6 pitches last night.
And they
pulled
took him
himself
out, huh?
out. He's got a left knee issue. They put him on a 10-day DL.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a lot worse. It wouldn't even surprise me if
Wouldn't be
Chapman-
good if it
and
wasn't
Zach
wor- or
Britton-
if it was
Zach
worse.
Britton's playing like a pile of cow dung
Is that
right now. He's
But back to Chris Salehawk, you're not going to tell me you think the Red Sox are being smart and are just giving him more rest? Are you?
I said right. I think it's a lot more serious than I thought.
I mean, as Buster Olney said, yeah, the Red Sox say this guy has right shoulder inflammation. The question is, why does he?
Right.
That's a
Right.
symptom. Why does he have
I
right
think it's
shoulder?
worse than we thought.
And-
but it
and
goes.
Sale's sounding a little.
It goes to
more
my adage.
concerned.
That's
Yeah.
why all these wins in April by the Red Sox give them the luxury of sitting Sale down. Now
Sitting him down,
Maybe
yeah.
Sale would have won on the 10-day DL, but I can assure you, after that second 10-day DL. He had to, if he was in the fray with Oakland and Houston, he would be
wouldn't
pitching.
be on the DL
So right
right now.
now,
I don't care if I don't
sit him-
see him again till
Right,
postseason, but I'm
absolutely.
just
Right.
concerned whether we're going to see him again postseason. I'm very concerned about Chris Sale.
and that could happen. I was talking to my buddy
If they
Joe
don't have
yesterday.
Chris Sale, doesn't that give you Red Sox confidence, Nick? Doesn't that
I
just
think without
give
Chris,
it torpedo it pretty much?
without
or-
Chris Sale, my confidence in the Red Sox being able to win
Yeah.
any big time elimination game 7 kind of style game just goes out the window because I don't trust Rick Porcello or David Price that
and
much.
Porcello, he's got a lot of wins, but he's playing on the number 1 offensive team. His
Yeah.
ERA isn't sparkling.
He's been real up and down. It was funny. He had
4.14.
not given up
You
a
need to-
homer. I think I heard he hadn't given up a homer
Yeah.
against the Indians in
Right, yeah.
11 starts until last night when he gave up 3.
Now, my
the
feelings
night before.
on Chris Sale, when the Red Sox win the series, I will sit back, and I know you're not supposed to do this, but when Chris Sale picks the ball up, I say the game's over.
Although, of course, that didn't happen that way in the playoffs
Not last year,
for
Yeah.
the record.
but me thinks he's the experience of, he's your Cy Young Award winner.
So that's hugely concerning.
I think the Red Sox, they have so much at starting pitcher right now. Let him go until the shoulder's just completely
I
fine, and
agree.
then if it's not fine, sit him. Like, it's not a huge deal. The Red Sox have a 7-game lead in the American League East.
And Mr. Rodriguez is just about back.
Eduardo Rodriguez coming
Who's had
back.
a
Steven Wright's
very good
coming
year.
back.
Yeah.
They've got Drew Pomeranz if they need him. Brian Johnson
And
is
Mr.
there
Price,
too.
again,
So I
not
mean,
my favorite guy. David's pitching some pretty
right.
good ball these
The Red
days.
Sox
ERA
aren't
is
going to have an
actually
ace, but
down
they don't need one.
3.64.
3.69, yeah, a decent whip. And a couple things I'm going to say about Chris Sale. When they traded for him, damn you Red Sox, as you know, the Nationals had him. And Dombrowski
Oh, that's
came
right.
in.
You think the Nationals were just,
Oh, it was
just
done.
so close?
I
It was
told you,
done?
I was on a cruise.
Who are they going to give up for?
It was,
Was
this
Jacob-
is-
was Jacob
this is
Worth part of
the
that?
point of my next story. The National League #1 prospect, Louis Giolito,
yeah.
okay, which eventually 2 days later they did trade to the White Sox for Adam Eaton and their other number 2 prospect. And this is the gist of what I'm going to tell you about right now. Giolito, okay, we got Adam Eaton, the oft-injured Adam Eaton, but
Yeah.
he's a good player. Giolito right now is 9-9. Red, his ERA is 6.03.
Not
Complete
good.
bust. Now, the Red Sox not only traded their top 2 prospects, but they were top 10 in all of baseball.
Yeah.
Jan Mikata was somewhere between 2 and 3 best prospects in baseball.
I'm okay with giving up Moncada in that trade.
Kopech?
Kopech, though.
Finally pitched.
This
it.
kid's got a can't miss label,
Yeah.
but Mikata did too.
Kopech's going to be a
but
star.
let me
I
tell
don't
you,
know about Moncada. He
Mikado.
strikes out so much.
Okay.
He's hitting what, 220 this year?
Not a great year.
Okay, Mikado, and certainly not giving up on him. However, he's hitting 219.
And as Nick says, a ton of strikeouts, right?
He strikes out all the time.
Boy,
And I just, as a Red
He's young,
Sox,
but no, I'm not losing any
he's got
sleep over
16
that.
Yeah.
home runs, which is quite good for a second
Decent,
baseman.
yeah.
So he can improve. However, with all this being said, and we got to wait.
you
for
got to give up
Kopech.
something for
And
him.
as I told you, I would have given up in that trade to get Chris Sale. As I've said on the show a bunch of times, I think I would have given up JBJ without even worrying too much. I was
But
surprised.
JPJ has no value. Period.
No, I mean, it's,
I think he definitely does because he's
useful.
one of the
he's
best
a-
center fielders, if not
Oh,
the best
right.
center
He's
fielder
a
in baseball.
great
He's worked
defense.
his way up. He's worked his way up a bit. But,
His batting average as we sit here right now is 219 as well.
Yeah, I think, but
The
is
Red Sox-
Moncada the second baseman?
The Red Sox can afford.
JBJ is
He's worked his way
The
up to
Red
about
Sox can
170.
afford,
Right.
Nick, having JBJ in the lineup at 219.
Absolutely.
Because they have so much
Right.
power.
I'm not saying he's
there.
great, but I
for
would have
half-
given him up
But
in that
half
deal,
the
too.
other teams in baseball, he would not be starting because they cannot afford to
Sure
have
he would.
a
I think-
219 hitter. You
I
can't-
think any team in baseball would want to stick him in at
But
the
his defensive
number 9
prowess,
spot
that's
because
for,
he's
that's
the
for something.
Oh, it
It's
is
not
worth
going to tell
something.
you how many
But if you
points
need
and-
some offense, a 219.
name a better center fielder than Jackie Bradley Jr.
Well, I will say this.
I mean, you
One thing
can't.
that's happened over the years that as much as we like to say, ourselves folks, well, this isn't the way it used to be. But I will say this, the defensive play in Major League Baseball is so far superior to what it was 40,
right?
50 years ago.
Yeah.
Just about every team has
Just
got...
with probably much better conditioned athletes.
They're athletes, and that's the thing. They're athletes.
Yeah.
And as great as JBJ, and I will not take anything away from his leather, but
no, I hear you
there are a
about
lot
your
of great outfielders
Yeah.
out there. And you look at Mookie Betts, great athlete. He came up as a second baseman, and I still, to this day, would put him at second base.
He's played
in
quite
the
a bit.
in the future because he is such a great athlete. He could become a better than average, and not only that, that would give him a ticket to Cooperstown.
Yeah.
Because of
For him to play like
to
that
have a
as a
second
second
baseman to hit 30 home runs just does not happen.
Right.
So, and one other thing too about Chris Sale, I didn't do much today, so I had a ton of time to prepare for the show.
Good. Hey, you're a
And
good man.
Okay, active lifetime ERAs in Major League Baseball, minimum pitch 1,000 innings.
Mr. Kershaw on top of the best.
Now, Clayton Kershaw, and I was talking to someone that they had him in the top 10 all-time great pitchers, okay? Now, as great as Max Scherzer is, and he is, and he'll probably win his third consecutive Cy Young award this year.
Yeah.
He's not as good as Clayton Kershaw. The only reason
He's just
Kershaw,
healthier. Yeah.
exactly, Kershaw, unfortunately, has got the kiss of death. He's got a bad back, and
Yeah.
he's on the DL. But
And
Kershaw,
postseason.
Kershaw has got a 2.36 lifetime ERA.
Is that right?
That is just unheard of with all the runs being scored now.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Number 2, Chris Sale,
Is that right?
2.88.
Huh. Is that right? He's number 2?
Madison Bumgarner, who's a shell of himself, but he came off
Yeah.
an injury this year, 3.01. Corey Kluber, 3.07. Number 5, G-Hawk. What's wrong with Steven Strasburg? Well, unfortunately, he can't stay on the field. He's injured all the time.
He's number
He's
5?
actually 5th. Okay, and so when people say, "Boy, the Strasburg's been a bust," well, he can't stay healthy.
Right.
In
Been
fact,
far
he-
from a bust. but
you'd be surprised how many people have told me this guy's a bust.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
he's a
that's
good
ridiculous.
pitcher. He's just hurt sometimes.
Right.
I mean,
That's
it's-
ridiculous.
He's off the DL pitching tonight. He's got a 3.13 ERA. But guys like, now go down, Scherzer is 6. He's at 3.19. It's because he
Yeah.
came up with Arizona, wasn't good as a kid, went to Detroit, got pounded around a bit there. But then you've got Price, Adam Wainwright, Felix Hernandez, Johnny Cueto, number 10. And guys like John Lester, you think have had a pretty good year or
What's
career.
Lester?
3.53. That's 1.2 runs more than Clayton Kershaw, just to show you the greatness
Right.
of
Yeah, Kershaw's just
of
incredible.
Kershaw. So, but Chris Sale, and is a very serious guy, but I like guys like him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You haven't heard a
no-nonsense
word
guy.
out of him out of 1 3/4 season.
Unfortunately, a comment he threw in the other day is getting kind of hung up a bit for the Red Sox being the best team on the planet. I've heard people giving him grief over that, but no, he's a very straightforward kind of guy. I'm on the best team that ever walked the planet. Probably a comment he could have left off, but that's okay.
But
I
he's
like-
not. Again, I'm a factual guy.
No,
I don't
he's a
think
very
that's it's not an
straightforward
opinion.
guy.
Yeah,
he is playing. The record shows it. At
Of
this
course,
point,
Dan Shaughnessy's comment is fine comment, Chris, but let's see you guys win a postseason series before you give me
Right.
that.
however, it might have been a bit braggadocious, but it's 100% factual. As of that date, the Red Sox are the best
Yeah,
team.
no, I'm
in
not
baseball.
hanging him for that. He's a very
and
good guy.
Duke, your all-time favorite player. I made a copy here. What the heck? Don't. Oh, here it is. Clay Buchholz. Washed out in Boston. Signed with Philadelphia, if I remember
Is he
right.
still pitching?
He pitched his first game with the Phillies.
We got to
gotta
call.
Oh, okay. Remind me of Clay Buchholz.
Yeah.
Good evening. You're on the Best Damn Sports Show in Franklin County.
Hey, caller.
Yeah, hello. I'm in my car here on the Bluetooth. I don't know how well you can hear me.
Loud and
You're good.
clear.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Is the Nighthawk on board?
Nighthawk's
I am
with
here,
us. Hey, Len.
alive and well.
Well, give me your synopsis of the NL East now.
The National League East. Gosh, you know the Phillies are playing the Nats in a 4-game series We beat them last night 10-4. Philadelphia's played great. The Atlanta Braves, I keep saying.
What about the
Right.
We're the Braves manager. We should be giving the Braves manager some credit here too.
If you put a gun to my head right now and who's going to win, I will go with Philadelphia. Aaron Nola
Philadelphia's got the
is a
pitching.
terrific pitcher, and Jake Arrieta has been very good as well. And nothing but kudos to the Braves. Definitely the team of the future.
Really?
Yeah, Albies, Acuna.
You know, I'm going to change my mind finally because I haven't been on their bandwagon. But when they get to the September call-ups, they are just going to kill the Phillies. I mean, they can bring up these Class A starters and put them in the bullpen. They've started 4 20-year-olds making their major league debuts on the mound this year. Never happened before in baseball. And 3 of the 4 have been very exemplary. So there's no team that can stockpile September in the NL East like the Braves.
Yeah. Well, that's to be seen. But I'll tell you about the depth of the Atlanta Braves.
No. This is on paper, Hawk. You know they're deep.
Yeah.
They've brought up so many young pitchers who've been lights out.
Yeah.
No other team can do that.
Yeah. Well, Leonard, what about that kid they brought up 2 days ago? He pitched.
They brought up so many. Which one?
He pitched a shutout. The following day, they sent him back to the minor leagues.
Well, yeah, that's why they're so deep.
Yeah. No, listen, I've got nothing but the utmost respect. And what makes Atlanta scary, now that they have most of the pieces, they can look at their roster during the wintertime and finally say, now it's worth the money to go out and get a free agent if we need to.
No question. They got the money to do it.
Absolutely.
So, they're going to do well in the off season, but I honestly think they will win the East. I never come out and said that before, but I truly believe it now because the only thing they're missing is the back end of the bullpen.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe they'll bring back Kimbrel.
And what are they, Leonard? A game up? Game and a half up?
Two games up. But that's not the point. The point is, I think they have better hitting than Philadelphia. I think their starting pitching is probably deeper than Philadelphia. But the only thing they
depth
got to come
doesn't
up with,
matter in the postseason, though.
Maybe they'll come up with somebody here before August 31st. They need a closer. And and their GM said if they can get one through waivers here from another team, they're willing to make a deal.
Yeah.
What do you think
They
about
need
them
to
taking one of those starters that you say they're so deep starting pitching? Put one of those starters that you think has that high clutch gene or clutch level, and maybe give him a couple of games as the closer and see what happens there.
Well, can you imagine Fultonevich as a closer?
Yeah.
They're not going to do that, obviously, because he's done so well as a starter. But I haven't been on their bandwagon, even though I'm their team. But they're my team, I should say. But they keep just confounding me. Yeah. They got swept by Colorado. They gave away 2 games. The bullpen cost up 2 games in the 9th inning. We should have split with Colorado. Great hitting team. And we're going for a sweep tonight in Pittsburgh. Then we go to Miami. And you got the Nats and the Phillies battling each other. In the Nats, I wouldn't rule them out by getting rid of Murphy and Adam, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
They're not that bad a team still.
No, they're better than their 500 record. I agree, and certainly whoever has to play them in September. Leonard, again, I like Aaron Nola a lot. He's got a 2.24 ERA. And
Arrieta.
What's that?
You mean Arrieta?
No, Aaron Nola for the Phillies.
Yeah.
But they got Arrieta.
Yeah,
they have Arrieta. That's a good pitcher. Your top pitcher, and I can't pronounce his last name.
Fultonevich.
Thank you.
We've got a lot of top pitchers.
Yeah.
We got a lot of Anibal Sanchez. This guy they got from Baltimore, Glossman, lights out. The ERAs have been under 3.
Yeah.
I mean, these are veteran pitchers who've been there.
That's the former Red Sox pitcher, Anibal Sanchez. Remember him?
We've got depth at pitching. Philadelphia
still
doesn't have the depth.
Yeah.
Really?
They're going to pitch themselves out and be tired out in September.
Yeah.
And in September, we're going to be so deep on that roster that we're going to just through, it's just the fact that Philadelphia's going to wear down. They got to pitch their top pitcher all the time. We give our guys 6 and 7 days rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my take on
Yeah.
it.
No. Listen, you've been telling me for the last 3 years, just be patient because you follow the minor leagues more than any person I know.
Every day.
Right. And I respect your knowledge of baseball. And what you said has proven to be true. Atlanta's just got a wealth of talent coming up. And as I said, most importantly, and I'll check what their payroll is here, they have the ability to pay for free agents. Now, with that being said, Leonard, Bryce Harper could easily be on Philadelphia next season. I've heard they're interested in Harper.
Right. I don't know where he wants to play. I really don't know. He's a West Coast guy from Vegas. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Couple of other notes. The kid there from Richmond, that quarterback, the Giants drafted. I kind of like him.
I wanted him for the Pats. I thought the Pats should have drafted him.
Kyle Laletta.
Yep.
Richmond Spider. I would have bet my life he was going to be the 3rd round pick of the New England Patriots.
Should have been.
He was still there, Leonard. The Giants had absolutely no interest in drafting a quarterback. He was still sitting there in the 4th round, and Dave Gettleman, their new old general manager, says, well, geez, I'm not going to let this talent go to someone else. So they drafted him. Now, as you know, Davis Webb, their current backup quarterback, is 6'5", and he's got a cannon for an arm. But this Kyle Laletta does not have a big arm. But they say between his ears, he's kind of a Tom Brady-like. He can dissect the defense really well. And there's at this point, they really haven't named the backup quarterback on the Giants. But for a 4th round pick, me thinks the Giants got a hell of a deal.
I agree. I agree.
He's very calm in the pocket, doesn't get nervous, and can run a little, as we saw the other night.
So, Leonard, let me tell you right now, the Atlanta Braves, they stand 19th overall in payroll at $128 million. Okay, they spend $100 million less than the Boston Red Sox, so they have room to maneuver. I'm looking for
They'll never spend over $200 million.
Right.
Liberty Media owns them.
Yeah.
And of course, they are a publicly held company now. The Atlanta Braves. You can buy stock on the Braves on the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
And Liberty Media, it'll be interesting. It'll be up to Liberty Media how good the Braves will be.
Yeah. Now, Leonard,
money they want to spend.
The Philadelphia Phillies, as I mentioned, they're in the same corral as the Braves. The Phillies are 23rd in spending at only $103 million. And just like the Braves, they're ready to spend money. So it's going to be a wild time in the OK Corral this winter between the Phillies and the Braves. League average for payroll is $138 million. Leading are the Red Sox at $228 million. The Giants, that I don't even think are playing 500, they're at $207 million. Yankees are at 177.
Right. Why I lead the Braves is because they've owned the NL East. That's where they've made the difference. They have a great record against the NL East this year.
I think, Leonard, they've won twice as many as they've lost. It was ridiculous how many they've won in the East, where Philadelphia is barely over 500 playing Eastern Division foes.
But the team, here we go. I honestly mean this. The team that's ultimately going to decide the NL East will be the New York Mets.
Yeah. Listen, Leonard, for the future, if the Mets pitching staff can stay healthy, they will be contenders as well. They'll spend some money themselves. They still have.
But they're going to determine this year's winner. I really mean that. One other note, real quick. I don't want to hold you. They changed the bats in the Little League World Series. You probably read about that. They've done away. They were afraid the kids were getting hurt. Line drives, it's just too much exit velocity off the bat. They've got bats that they're not wooden, but they're more like wood. And they've hit only like 20% of the home runs in the Little League World Series to this date right now than they did last year. So it's small ball. It's small ball and strategy in the Little League World Series this year.
So, well, thank you, Leonard, for calling.
And also, did you see that Nunn
Yep.
throw up the first pitch in Chicago
White Sox game. Yeah, she was cool. Good pitch, too. Yeah, she looked pretty good.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
She's going to get her own bobblehead and, well-deserving.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah. Thanks, Len.
Okay, guys.
Leonard, see you. Good to hear from you.
See you later.
You too. Bye-bye.
So Duke and Nick, Clay Buchholz, 12 starts with the Arizona D-backs who are currently...
This year?
Yeah, that
Still
currently...
hanging around.
Oh, he's been a godsend. I'm telling you right now. Listen to this, Duke.
Of course he has.
Arizona is one of the premier parks if you're a hitter. So that's where you want to play. That's why I didn't think Martinez would hit as many home runs at Fenway because he got traded to the D-backs and it's home runs galore.
Fenway's the same way with the way he hits.
But
Fenway,
he hits a lot of he hits a lot of ball. I mean, he hits plenty of like bullpen homers. He's hitting plenty of,
Fenway
like,
Park is actually an average home run park. It's a high batting average ballpark.
Yeah, right.
Now,
right fielders have said, I know the park
for a guy
well.
that hits it to right
medium right is 380. That's the longest medium right in baseball. I'm guessing by 20 feet probably.
So Clay Buchholz is 6-2, 2.47 ERA with a 1.07 WHIP.
You're serious.
I'm totally serious. And a couple other notes.
The most frustrating guy I've ever dealt with.
We've talked about the Red Sox, Yankees. Red Sox on a 3-game skid, which is probably a good thing for them to happen. Right now, they're destined for 112 wins. Yankees are at 102. 2 great seasons. However, we always forget about Baltimore and Kansas City. They're, at this point, continued their play. Baltimore would...
battling for the first pick.
Kansas City will be 49 wins, 113 losses. The O's will be 48 and 114
How can
losses.
you beat that? That's just
unbelievable. It's just unbelievable.
That's about as bad as it gets.
Baseball, quick notes. Bryce Harper, I told Duke the other day, all the negativity. He's up to 248 now. Hopefully he'll finish 260. He's got 30 home runs, second in the league, 80 RBIs, 10 stolen bases, and he's got an on-base percentage of 381. Leads the league in walks. If you took his average, gave him 30 more points, you'd be saying the sky's the star. Now, he's not the best player in the league, but he's a top 10 player.
What good does it do for a team that's pretty much out of it?
Oh, they're out of it. They are. But the point being, he's a free agent in 6 weeks.
Right. But for the Nationals, from your position as a Nationals fan, I would hate to see this because, they didn't trade him. They're out of the division. They're going to lose him in free agency.
Dodgers picked him up on waivers 2 days ago.
Okay.
But they could not work a deal. It's like Daniel Murphy, who hit 329 for the Nats in his 2 3/4 season.
Did he really?
He got traded to the Cubs. Okay, starting tonight at second base and leading off.
Yep.
And Matt Adams, who played 259
Traded
at-bats,
him back to St.
18 home
Louis.
runs, 48 RBIs. When Zimmerman was out, he went back to his original ball club to St. Louis.
So does this speak to next season too, or the Nats saying, "Hey guys, forget it. We failed in our bid."
Ownership has written a letter to the fans. Rizzo is we did not do what we were supposed to do this year, but Leonard's right. Atlanta is an up and coming team. Philadelphia is up and coming.
So
I don't
good.
think the Mets is bad. It's going to be a tough league.
Can I just mention Lake Monsters and get that in?
Yep.
We're talking down to 6 home games, hopefully one of which we're going to see next. They're playing tonight on the road, but they're back. We're talking Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday next week, then the following Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, Labor Day. So 6 more home games.
Tied 1-1 right now.
You've been all over them.
Aberdeen, Yeah,
Anyway,
I've followed them quite a bit
So
this
pretty
year.
much a 500
They're
team.
what are they, 4 under right now? I think 3 under.
Yep, one last night.
This, as we see here, the 1-year anniversary of the Isaiah Kyrie trade
Yep.
happened
that
on this
right?
day, and also I talked about, and you really floored me when I mentioned Duke basketball.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. I'm glad I had time to bring it up about Zion Williamson. And you just like poo.
I finally saw his
you poo-hooed
dunk
me.
from what, center court or not quite center court?
You act like Nighthawk. You're a sports guy. You know nothing about Zion. Me and my buddy's been watching him for 4 years.
Yeah.
I just saw it for the first time.
Well, they just played their 3-game exhibition series.
Wow.
I didn't even hear a
Jeez.
thing about their exhibition.
Listen,
game.
listen.
All I saw was Williams.
listen,
Did it
listen.
get any attention from
Oh,
local?
Duke,
I was
they got
on the
about
venue.
5 minutes every
Right.
game on ESPN
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
against playing these.
Clanman doesn't get ESPN.
Oh,
I've been on
this,
been away.
these
Really?
Canadian universities
Yeah.
are probably as good as the good high school teams in America.
Not bad,
they're
not
not.
bad.
They're not good. Even UVM will play.
Is that right?
Teams.
So those games got a bunch of attention.
Oh,
UVM beat up on those
listen.
teams, so.
I told you last week, the first time, and don't diss me here, when I saw Zion Williamson, I said, who is that man on wearing that Duke uniform?
Right. That guy's 30.
He's 18 years old. He looks like he's built like 20. And Duke, I have never seen a big man, and I swear I've been watching basketball over 50, so agile
Yeah,
as Zion
he's
Williamson.
incredible.
And what's scary about Duke, as I mentioned last week, R.J. Barrett, the big guy,
Yep.
slated to go first in the draft.
You're way ahead of me.
Cam Reddish, 2. Zion Williamson, 4. Then they've got some unknown guy who I didn't even know about until today, another freshman by the name of Trey Jones.
But of course, does this guarantee
He's a point guard.
national championship? Of course not.
They
But you
got
figure
him
they'll
going-
hang around for a while.
They got him going 14th. Now, with all that being said, these guys have probably never played a look at defense in their whole life.
Right.
And that's Krzyzewski, and I'm not blaming Krzyzewski. It takes more than one season to teach somebody how to
Well,
play
he finally,
defense.
he saw the light last season when he said, "Forget man-to-man. You guys can't play man-to-man
That's-
zone," and they had a pretty good.
And that's
end of the
exactly what happened with Krzyzewski is Marvin Bagley, who went second in this year's draft to Sacramento, could not play man
Maybe
to
Jim
man.
Boeheim, Coach K's very good friend Jim Boeheim, said, "Hey, Coach, I know you love man-to-man, but hey, you might want to think about playing some zone."
And you think, like, I know you don't like Duke, and like most of the country, you either love Duke or hate them.
Right.
And I think there's more haters. But
You think there? You can delete the word.
okay,
think.
okay.
You
Listen,
think.
you are going to be deluged.
If I've lost Nick, I mean I've lost the country.
You are going to be deluged this season.
Deluged.
With deluge. See, I tell you.
I don't mean to give you
That's fine. I'm here to learn.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
You're going
probably
to
have a
get Duke
pretty good
basketball 24 hours
Oh, yeah.
a day.
Yep.
Hey, a quick college basketball note. I'm putting my UVM jersey on. Trey Bell Haynes, good, I guess, signed
in
by a
Germany,
German.
yep.
That's probably a decent living though,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be?
Yeah, he'll
2 minutes.
earn a living, but he had delusions of leaving UVM after his junior season. He had feelers
to go to the
as
real-
to go pros.
Anyway,
he
but
played
good luck to him. He sounds
with
like a
I
good
think
guy.
Utah in the summer league.
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
He looked pretty
Milwaukee.
good with
Yeah.
them.
Hawk, you
But
love
he could
trivia.
get
Just
to the
as
G.
we're
I have
here.
never missed a trivia question.
Here's the answer to this I'll say a New England trivia question.
Okay.
The answer is Worcester. The question is
Worcester.
Worcester. In the
Worcester.
news in recent days. In the sports news. I'll give you that hint.
Bob Cousy.
No, we're talking about the
Baseball.
Paw Sox are moving to Worcester, Mass.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm getting away
What?
from my trivia.
Why?
But Worcester's the answer to the New England trivia question. That wasn't exactly. And Worcester, can you tell me what's noteworthy about Worcester in New England? How about the second biggest city in New England? You might have guessed Providence or Hartford.
Yes,
number 2.
I would have
Worcester.
predicted.
Anyway, they got the Paw Sox, and this goes back seconds left to. In fact, Shaughnessy mentions it in his column today. I would have mentioned anyway. The Kurt Schilling, the 38 Studios thing,
Yep.
when Rhode Island gave Schill millions of dollars. Hey, come to the Ocean State. That went south and stuff. And the thinking is that Rhode Island folks were still bitter about that they just didn't give the Paw Sox or Providence, wouldn't give them the deal to Worcester. So Worcester will be the new home of the Paw Sox 2 years hence.
Duke, isn't the Paw Sox, Red Sox 1 minute? Oh, geez.
1 minute.
Okay.
Triple-A team.
Isn't their ballpark fairly new?
No, it's an
McCoy
old. They might
Stadium's
have
an older
no.
ball
McCoy
stadium.
Stadium's old. They might have
Yeah.
made some
Yeah.
improvements, but
So-
anyway. So kudos to Worcester.
Yeah.
Be a nice boost. We're actually baseball. There was a National League team, 1880s, the Worcesters.
Okay.
They've got some history.
Yeah. Well, what's
I'm
the
done.
second biggest city in Florida? Quick, population.
No idea.
Jacksonville. Nobody knows that. That will wrap this edition of the Best Damn Sports Show in Franklin County. For our studio director, Zach. In the middle here, the monkey in the middle, Red. And on the far right, my pal, the Duke. And until next week, everyone, as always, remember, you don't have to be a great sport to be a good athlete. No, you don't have to be a great athlete to be a good sport. I'm running out of time here. Leave me alone. See you, folks.